Good evening, everybody. Here for a nice battle 40k. Today here with Stuart. Say hello, Stuart.
Nope.
We've got some Dark Angels of mine against Tyranids of Stuart's. This is my first game with the Dark Angels, so please, I might get things wrong. I probably will, but either way. Start with my HQ. Unfortunately, I haven't painted anything yet because I want to get better at painting before I paint these guys. But HQ right there is level 2 Librarian, vanilla, and he's with 5 veterans with combi plasmas in a drop pod. Then there's also 5 Terminators there with a plasma cannon. That's all. On the field, we've got 10-man tactical squad, triple plasma, pistol, cannon, gun. Another 5-man tactical squad in there with a plasma cannon. Dreadnought with a plasma cannon. And 3 bikes with a plasma gun and a power weapon. Let's have a look at the Tyranids, Stuart.
Sure. 2 squads, 10 gargoyles with adrenal glands. We got 3 shrikes, rending claws. 30 hormagaunts with adrenal glands. We've got a Turvagon with regeneration and catalyst. This is going to be subbing in for my unfortunate Venomthrope who's broken, and I'd like to use him all of this game, so we've got a Hive Guard subbing in as a Venomthrope. 2 squads in the dark color here of Gene Stealers. 5 men, 1 is upgraded to a Broodlord in each squad.
And we're playing Vanguard Deployment, Emperor's Will. I have my objective set up right here, and Stuart's got the cesspool chilling right there. We'll be right back. So we'll just come back here to these Broodlords. The first Broodlord, the big one over here, he has Endurance and Puppet Master. And the second Broodlord over here also rolled Endurance, but he rolled a focused Witchfire power, and as the FAQ states, Tyranid Broodlords cannot use those and can't reroll, so he only has 1 psychic power. And yeah, Catalyst and Dominion on this fellow. And my Psyker, I can't see him on that black, but he has Precognition and Prescience, both from Divination. My Warlord trait was Conqueror of Cities, and Stuart's was...
Number 4
gets to reroll his reserves.
Reroll reserves, I'm using none. So.
Yeah, no reserves, and yeah, and I have 2. But yeah, we'll be back. Dark Angels won the roll to deploy and go first, so we'll be back at the end of Dark Angel turn 1. Stuart's probably going to try to seize the initiative, though. Nope, 4. End of Dark Angels turn 1. I made a pretty bold move here. Dropped my drop pod in with my company veterans and my commander there. Bikes advanced, and as did the Dreadnought over here. Unfortunately, I neglected to remember about the Veil of Darkness.
Shadow the Warp.
Shadow the Warp, making me roll 3d6 for my psychic powers. So I failed both of them, perils on one of them, so my guys didn't get rerolls. But even still, unloaded pretty well everything into that Turvagon. Tried to down it, put 5 wounds into it. Needed 1 more, just couldn't do it. So those guys are lunch next turn. And yeah, time for Tyranid turn 1. Pretty interesting turn 1 here for the Tyranids. General advance on this flank, running forward as far as they can. Gargoyles, Gaunts, and the Shrikes there. Over here, the Turvagon in its movement phase ran away and tried to spawn some Termagants. Did so, spawned 5, but rolled a pair of 1s, so he's broken and will no longer be spawning any more Gaunts for the rest of the game. And he failed all his regenerations, didn't make any of them. These gargoyles here, can't really see them in the shadow, were 7 in number at the beginning of the turn. Shot and charged these bikes, managed to kill one of the bikes in combat, but the bikes killed a couple of them, and they broke and fled. Unfortunately, the bikes couldn't catch them in the advance. And over here, the heroic stance of the Vanguard squad that jumped, well, it's not Vanguard, but company veteran squad that jumped in. They got charged by both units of Gene Stealers, managed to kill 1 on the way in, Overwatch, but their Librarian was challenged and brutally murdered by one of the Broodlords, as was expected, and then they lost 2 of their number elsewhere, and managed to kill 1 Gene in return. Yeah, so they're still alive. Unfortunately, I got Slay the Warlord there, but they're chilling, and yeah, I think that's about it. Time to be Dark Angels turn 2. End of Dark Angels turn 2. My Terminators came in on their Deathwing Assault, and combining with these fellows here and the Dreadnought, Oh no, not the Dreadnought. Just these two guys shot up the gargoyles that are no longer there. They're gone. Dreadnought put his plasma cannon into the strikes, took off a wound there, and these guys got a crossfire over the plaza into the gaunts there. Managed to kill a couple. Over here, these two bikes moved up and took off the last wound from the Turvagon, and the Stormbolter from the drop pod took one of these guys off. Not in synapse, but they made their, what was it, leadership 6?
Yeah, they rolled a 5.
They rolled a 5 on their leadership 6, so they're chilling. Yeah, it's the end of Dark Angels. Oh, and in this combat, sorry, of course, one Dark Angel was slain, not by Broodlords, but by Gaunts. Or not Gaunts, Jeans, sorry. And they attacked back and couldn't manage to do anything. So lost combat, but they made their leadership test. They're hanging in there still. Those veterans, loving them. Be back at the end of Tyranid turn 2. End of Tyranid turn 2. Pretty rough turn for the Tyranids, I'd say. Over here, general advance on this flank. The Gaunts and the Shrikes moved up. Unfortunately, yeah, these guys had to run out of range with their guns. Over here, these fellows both passed their instinctive behavior tests, given that they're no longer in synapse, and shot and charged the bikers. Killed one in combat, but the bikers killed one of the gargoyles too. But 3 of the Termagants were killed when we realized when the Turvagon died itself, because there's a special there. A miraculous happening over here. Last surviving 2 veterans managed to actually win combat, made all their saves against these guys, and broke them. Didn't catch them in the sweeping advance, but yeah, managed to squeeze themselves out of combat there. So we'll be back at the end of Dark Angels turn 3. End of Dark Angels turn 3. Over here we had the Terminators and the Tactical Squad unload into the Hormagaunts here, and killed a few in the shooting, and then the Terminators charged in, killed a few more, and ended up killing 9 total, and the one Terminator ended up dying. Over here, this guy moved forward at all due speed. These fellows booked it back a little bit more. Unfortunately, couldn't get much on their difficult terrain and run, in 1s and 2s respectively. Over here, one more gargoyle was killed by the power weapon wielding sergeant, and
that scared off.
Yeah, exactly, scared off those Gaunts. But there were 2 of them left, and we figured they needed double 1s to regroup, and they weren't doing it, so they just booked. Well, there's an objective right there. We should probably think about that one a little bit more, but yeah, either way. That's the end of it. Oh, and this Stormbolter fired. Didn't do shit, and these guys took out 1 Gene Stealer there. End of Imperial Guard turn 3. We'll be back at the end of Tyranid turn 3. Imperial Guard. Fucking. End of Tyranid turn 3. Over here, the Shrikes moved up and shot up the Space Marines here. These guys managed to make their save. In this combat, the Gaunts managed to kill 1 Terminator, but the 3 remaining swung back and killed 3 of them. They lost combat, but fearless, because they're in synapse, so they endured there. Over here, these Gene Stealers failed their charge on the company veterans here. So these guys are still on the retreat. And on this side, the last gargoyle was killed by the biker sergeant, and the Broodlord charged the Dreadnought heroically and managed to get a rend and get a wound, or get a penetrating hit rather, but unfortunately rolled a 2 on the damage chart.
Would have been a kill.
Would have been a kill, and if he'd got it, that would have been glorious.
Big.
But yeah, I think that's the end of mid turn 3.
Bring on turn 4.
Time for turn 4. I think this might draw it to a close. We'll see. End of DA turn 4. Just have a look. These guys shot the Shrikes, managed to get 1 wound. Nothing spectacular. They're getting the Venom Thrope save. Over here in this combat, the Terminators endured 30 attacks again and didn't die. Managed to kill 3 Gaunts?
Not sure.
3 or 4
Handful.
Over here, the company veterans were inspired by the presence of their battle brother Dreadnought standing right next to them, so they turned around and opened up on the remaining Gene Stealers there with the bike, the drop pod, and the Dreadnought and managed to kill all but one Stealer and the Brood Lord, who did take 1 wound. These guys jumped out of the building and failed miserably running, but they're heading somewhere. Be back at the end of Nid-Turn 4. End of Tyranid, turn 4. The Bugs tried to throw their last guts out at the Dark Angels, and Dark Angels took it. So I think this will probably conclude the game for us. But over here, Venomthrope, this is actually very tricky, very well played.
Can I say?
Very well played, yeah, go for it.
Made a great charge when he chose not to Overwatch on a potential. He was going to save his Overwatch for my Shrikes here.
I tactically blundered, and the Venomthrope
made
it
charge, 10-inch charge to get in. They missed theirs, and they had the jump pack opportunity. They missed that too. That's been happening a lot this game, and it's been really too bad. But unfortunately, my Venomthrope missed. It had 2 wounds against it. It missed both its 5+ saves. Didn't get any simultaneous attacks back, and unfortunately, they couldn't take advantage of Toxic Miasma because of that. And in the end, I think that's about time to give it up.
Yeah.
I had a good fight over here. We're going to play the end of this after we turn the camera off, but it's been a good game.
Yeah, good stuff, Stuart. Pleasure as always.
Good game.
And chalk 1 up for the Dark Angels. Good stuff. That'll be it. Just a little bonus footage here. We kept doing this combat, and then after another round, the Terminators managed to knock off 2 Termagants, but the Termagants knocked down the Sergeant. I decided to keep the Power Fist. So this is the last stand sort of here, but we'll see if he can survive these last 8 Gaunts.
T.O., because I was out of synapse, because we're not...
We're assuming these guys got fucking killed by, pardon my French, but got killed by these guys furiously, so these guys are assumed dead.
I passed the leadership
But he passed a leadership test, rolled a 5, needing a 5, and, well, quite interesting. So we're going to go for another one. Might get to the end here.
My minor victory is that I did get it. I got him. So at least, Terminators, you ate that up.
The Gaunts ate the Terminators in the end.
Points advantage here, just for a little bit. At the end here, I just want to point out 240 points worth of that Gaunt pack, plus a 55-point Venomthrope. I'm guessing your terms would have been in the
235 points
point range, so he still had me, and it was a great play.
Yeah, no, great game.